Hello and welcome to this special episode of Game All Night. So this is going to be a little unusual this week. Number one, I'm releasing this on Sunday. I have a few things I wanted to run through and I thought this would be a great time. So number one, the elephant in the room is yes, Gary did leave the show a couple weeks ago. It's totally amicable. I understand what he wants to do with his life and time and just realized that a weekly show might be a little bit of too much to ask. So we parted ways as friends and been working on trying to find solutions in the last couple of weeks. So that leads me to number two here, which is you've seen the recent episodes, and you'll notice I've added Dan the bartender to the show. He's going to kind of help me fill in, and he's live in studio, which is a big help. And he's also going to be our game master and kind of help me run that part because believe it or not, it's kind of hard to come up with all these games and ideas. And if I'm trying to keep it secret, it's just very nice to have another hand. This past couple weeks, it's been a little crazy. In case you noticed, I started a new job. So that's kind of taking some adjusting and getting used to schedules. I will have a little bit of travel, so I'm not sure how that's all going to work out in the long run. But for the most part, it just means that, the show's going to continue. It's going to continue to be weekly and all that. It's just trying to sort out exactly how life now fits in. It's much better for me, and it's kind of cool that this happened, but my job before kind of afforded me a little more time to myself. So there was that adjustment. I also throw a big convention at my house every year for my birthday. This year we had close to 50 people over to play games, and I'm happy to say that two fans of the show, supporters of the show in fact, Heather and Gil, stopped by, and that was really cool of them to kind of hang out and game a little bit. So that was awesome to have them in the studio to check everything out. We'll get them in and maybe we'll play a game with them. I think that'll be fun. So like I said, the show continues. Now that my schedule is kind of finding a little normalcy, I'm going to try and work back to do some more episodes of Fiasco and definitely maybe some Wits and Wagers or different games kind of in that vein. I have a lot of fun doing those. They're a blast. I just had Pep on the other night to record a show, and it's definitely something that I think we could do a lot more of and have a lot more fun with. So stay tuned for more on that. We talked about adding Dan. Reuven's also helping me out a lot. He's been behind the scenes as producer, so now he's also going to be another voice you'll hear on the show. Until I can really swing a setup that can afford an extra camera, I can't really do too many in-studio shots. It's a little limiting with what I have, the equipment I have, and the added budget now with just me supporting the show is a little different. So what you see is where it's going to be for a while. Let's see, other things. Oh yeah, so this week, actually yesterday, at the time of this recording, I got to record an episode with Flip Flory on his Flip Flory Super Saturday Board Game Spectacular, and it was a lot of fun. We got to do a mashup of Stop Thief and Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It was a little bit of fun, so be sure to check that out. Flip's been on the show in the past. I love him. He was a very early supporter, one of the first three guests I had on, and definitely get him back because he's an absolute character, and we had a blast on the show, and he did a good job editing it because I actually sound kind of good, and now that I'm editing this show, I know how much work that really takes. All right, and last but not least, so Origins is right around the corner, 2018 at the time of this recording. I'm really not going to push this on you too much because I don't want to be the show that goes and does all these things at conventions and kind of makes people feel like they should be here. This is the coolest thing ever. Because for me, that's not what this is about. Origins is purely, my wife and I are taking this as our vacation this year. So it just happened to be, we decided this actually before we even decided to do the show. So it's been in the works for a while, and this is going to be our vacation. Now, that being said, Wednesday night, we are happy to announce that Capstone has graciously helped us out by, providing room and open invitation. If you want to grab a bottle, grab a glass, and show up, we're doing like a bourbon and whiskey tasting night. Come one, come all. We'll do that. We'll do some tasting of that stuff. Maybe we'll play some games. I think it'll just be cool to meet people. Aside from that, I will be around the convention all weekend. My wife and I'll be working the booth at Capstone. No affiliation. Clay's just an awesome guy. I love hanging out with him. I love heavy games, as you probably have figured out by now. And it's a good way to spend a con and help him out, and gives me something to do while I'm there instead of wandering aimlessly. Chances are I'll do the same thing at PAX U just because it's my local convention. But that's pretty much about it. I don't know if I'm going to record anything there, but I definitely will have buttons on me. I got some Game All Night buttons made. I got some stickers made. So there's a little bit of swag coming your way. I kind of felt like you needed to hand out something for the few of you that actually watch the show regularly. A, thank you. And B, if you're there, be sure to come up and say hi. It would be nice to know that, that this kind of means something to somebody and that they actually consume it. Because sometimes us creators, in general, we kind of create in a bit of a vacuum. So we don't exactly see everything, kind of a no news is good news kind of a situation for us. And after recording Travis Hill's episode and then editing it last week, kind of brings it to mind that we as publishers and producers and content makers kind of do this out of a love for the hobby. And it is nice to be validated and have people come up and say hey and thank you and stuff like that, but it's kind of hard to really gauge feedback for what we do, because a lot of people listen in silence, or you listen in a car and you never remember what you wanted to say to them when you get to work or wherever you're going, or maybe you're watching the videos. I hope so. We put a lot of time and effort into that. But that's kind of it. So we'll be running around there. Be sure to say hi. You won't be able to miss me. I'm like 6'5" and I'm goofy looking like this. So, be sure to have a drink. We only really have Wednesday night and Thursday night planned. We're going to go to the Blue Peg Pig Peg meetup. We're going to try and see if we can squeeze in there real quick. But that's pretty much it. I still have exciting guests on the horizon coming in, so it's not going to change much. But of a programming note this week, I'm not going to produce a video this week, just because trying to get it done and then do Origins and come back and go straight to work and deal with all that stuff. I'm just going to take a week off, which gives me time. I still have a couple episodes waiting to go, but I'd like to kind of save that in reserve. And of course, I hope to meet a bunch of people to invite them on to the show while I'm there. So, we'll see what we can do. And if you're watching the show and you enjoy it, feel like you want to reach out to me. I would appreciate that. It's nice to know if you want to see something. I had a request for somebody to know, well, what are you drinking each week? So you're going to see that kind of crop up. And with Dan here on the show now, we can do that. And my goodness, am I rambling right now? And I really haven't even had too much of this. Kind of like a good Manhattan. So, in any event, that's what's going on with the show. Things are going on. I hope you like Dan, the addition to him. I think he's hysterical, and he brings a nice counterpoint to me and my personality. So I think he's a really good fit for the show. And again, I want to send out huge thank yous to Heather and Gil, not only for supporting the show since day one, but making the trip out and just kind of being a part of the show. So thanks, everybody. Thank you for watching. If you watched this long, my goodness, thank you very much for doing that. I hope you enjoy the show so far. I hope it only gets better from here. And I guess if you come to Origins, I'll see you there. If not, enjoy it when you game all night.
Well, that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed our efforts at comedy and fun, please support us on Podpledge. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And of course, don't forget to engage with us on Board Game Geek Guild 3134. You can also check us out on our website, GameAllNightShow.com. This show has been made possible through supporters like these. Angry Octopus.